Brexit negotiations could continue for 50 years to improve deal. An expert has warned that Brexit negotiations with the EU could continue for half a century, as Britain tries to improve the existing deal it has agreed. Charles Grant, director of the Centre for European Reform, told the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change that the UK could end up like Switzerland, a country which has been in negotiation limbo since the mid-70s. Grant warned that very little had been settled with the Brexit deal that decides the UK's long-term relationship with the bloc. He said, "Nothing is really fixed. Britain is out of the EU for a generation and that's fixed, but the future is open to all sorts of questions. I think we're going to be in non-stop negotiations for at least 50 years with the EU, as the Swiss will tell you, who started in the mid-70s and have never stopped negotiating with the EU. I think 5 key questions will determine the nature of the future relationship. The first is, will the UK diverge or not? It's won this wonderful freedom to diverge, but will it want to exercise that freedom? My suspicion is, at a symbolic level, it will seem to diverge, but in practice, it won't diverge a lot, but I may be wrong on that. Secondly, will it try to improve on the terms of the deal? But I hope so, as it's a pretty rough deal, as the musicians have discovered this week and fishermen have discovered last week. Grant also suggested that there could be plenty of arbitration mechanisms, involving lots of lawyers, much like the initial deal, unless the government can work out a more friendly political relationship based on restoring trust. He said on key issues affecting Britain and the EU, it would also be better to be in the room occasionally, not at the top table, because we're never going to be at the top table again, but we could be at the bottom table occasionally, given a chance to say a few things to shape the debate. And finally, he asked whether the Northern Ireland Protocol is sustainable. I think a lot of people in Northern Ireland will find it really uncomfortable being cut off to some degree from Great Britain. Some people in the Tory party and some people in the DUP in Northern Ireland would love for that protocol to be torn up, so is that sustainable? I don't know. Grant added Labour could try to rejoin a number of EU institutions, if elected to power. He said, "I think a future Labour government will certainly try and improve the nature of it, and it'll certainly try and rejoin the Erasmus student exchange programme, for example." He suggested Keir Starmer could also consider looking at some kind of customs union, if he were to be elected to government.